untap, upkeep, and welcome back to the channel if you've been here before, and if you haven't, sit back, relax, and enjoy our show for you today. So, shall we get into it? Have you ever wanted to just burn the table down with big, dumb, flappy dragons, but don't quite necessarily want to pay that dragon tax? Don't like going more than two colors? I have a deck for you. Now, you could buy this deck if you can find it. It was a relatively cheap Commander Precon that they did, kind of like a introduction to Commander, if you will. I decided to kind of look at it, see if we could upgrade it a little bit, while still keep it really, really budget friendly. And then, we have got some budget friendly outside of the box upgrades, shall we? And then beyond that, we'll kick it up another notch and we'll just go, be a shame if we just went way beyond budget. So let's take a look at what we have going on here. So, as you can see, we are going to do Atarka, the World Render. So Atarka, the World Render, is a 7-drop, 6/4 flying trampoline dragon that says whenever a dragon you control attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn. This means it will hit for double combat damage, essentially. So, if you're having trouble understanding that, it means I attack with Atarka, and let's say you can't block it. I hit you for 6 damage, and then I hit you for another 6 damage. That's how double strike essentially works. And, well, things get pretty ugly after that when we do some real bad shenanigans. So let's kind of take a look and see what we have going on in the deck. Of course, we're going to be very dragon-centric. I mean, big dumb dragons. If you hear any flapping in the background, that would be because our wonderful dogs get a bath, and, well, they just don't like drying off normally. Of course not. We have to shake because we're a dog. But let's look and see where we are. So we're running a whopping 26 creatures in the deck. The problem I've seen with dragon decks, and I know I have many of them myself, is dragons cost a buttload of mana, and a lot of the really, really good ones come with that dragon tax, as Tomer from MTG Goldfish likes to say. Good cards cost you some money. Not just mana, too. And in this case, dragons, they do cost quite a pretty penny. So let's start off. First up, Atsushi the Blazing Sky has Flying Trample, 4 mana for a 4/4 dragon. Not that bad. Whenever he dies, you can exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. Excuse me, that is very, very important. Because that means if you exile lands, then you're able to play lands from the exile. So that's not that bad a thing, actually. Or you can make 3 treasure tokens. So either way, you can ramp, potentially, if you hit land or 2. And then, Atsushi, he's just a good, solid blocker for early game. Our mana costs a whopping 7 mana to get to. It takes a minute to get there. Next up, a introduction from the Park-Tier Dragonstorm set, which is, yeah, I know, big shocker, surprise, my favorite set that's been released so far this year, Bloom Vine Regent. So for 5 mana, we get a 4/5 flying dragon that says whenever this creature or another dragon you control enters, gain 3 life. This alone would make the dragon fairly good if you ask me. But it's the other part of it that makes it really good in this deck. You can play it for its omen cost, which is kind of like Adventure, only it goes back into the deck instead of into an exile zone. So for 2 and a green, you can search your library for up to 2 basic forest cards, reveal them, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and 1 into your hand. So you get to cultivate, and then this thing shuffles back into the deck. So you can repeat the cultivate effect over and over and over every time you draw the dragon, or if eventually we need to gain some life or we need a body, we can play the dragon as, well, a dragon. At least it's a pink dragon. I mean, that's kind of cool. We don't have pink dragons. By the way, this looks incredible when it's foiled. Oh, so beautiful. We have, of course, the big bad red dragon himself, Drakuseth Maul of Flames. Whenever it attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target, and then 3 and 3 to 2 other targets. So it can just dish out ridiculous amount of damage. Elvish Mystic, Mana Ramping Dork. The Fire Spitter Whelp, whenever you cast a non-creature spell or a dragon spell, he deals 1 damage to each opponent. Always handy to just keep the pressure on. Flame Blast Dragon, whenever he attacks, pay X in a red. If you do, he deals damage to target creature or player. So we like that. Laughless, the Queen of Dragons. Whenever a dragon ETB is under our control, that's not a token, make a 5/5 dragon creature token. And then for 1 and a red, dragons you control get a +1/+0 until that turn. They gain fire breathing. Yeah. Null Spine Dragon. Got no cards at hand, whole bunch of lands, not a whole lot of interaction. You need to draw more cards. Null Spine's got you. So you swing, you deal, I don't know, 12 points of damage. You play this guy, you discard your hand, you draw 12 more cards, mate. What's not to like about that? So we enjoy having the Null Spine in the deck. By the way, I love the Lord of the Rings reprint that he has. It is such pretty art. I wish I could get one that's like the border or extended, whatever you want to call it. I think if you could get one like the extended art with that picture on it, it would just be so amazing. And then, of course, well, I gotta get one foil because, well, I'm a dragon and I like my shiny toys. Anyways, Horde Smelter Dragon, he blows up artifacts at the cost of 3 and a red, so he gets a power boost for everything that he blows up that has an actual mana cost to it. So, like, back in the day, if you blow up a Mana Crypt or something, it's not really that effective. It hurts their mana, but it's not really going to boost the dragon. You're not really looking to boost him so much as just keep things off the battlefield that we don't want. Glorybringer has Flying Haste, and if you exert it, it deals 4 damage to target non-dragon creature and opponent controls. Just a decent dragon for 5 mana. Ganax, everybody should know Ganax by now, and if you don't, where are you hiding underneath your rock? Whenever he or another dragon enters under our control, make a treasure token. What's not to love about this guy in this deck? Oh, we're dragon-centric. Hello! Flinehorn and Llanowar Elves, both are just some cheap little dorks to help get our plan up and running a little bit quicker. Magnetic Hellkite, another one from the new Tarkir Dragonstorm set. Well, I keep saying new, but now it's, what, 2 sets behind now? Oof, time is flying. But when he comes into play, you can blow up a non-basic. You can blow up a non-basic land that an opponent controls. They can search their library for a basic land, but it's gonna have a stun counter on it. So you really kind of punish people with this dragon, and it's really good. If you haven't seen it before, please go back through the channel and look. I did a video on spooky lands that you need to be aware of when you're playing Commander. Some of them are ridiculously pricey money-wise, so unless they're proxied or they've been playing for a very long time, maybe got lucky, maybe got one themselves. Either way, you're not going to find too many people with some of these, but generally this dragon being able to hit something even simple like a Maze of Ith or a Glacial Chasm could change the entire way that the game plays, because you get rid of those lands and now you don't have to worry about them. Nesting Dragon has landfall. Whenever we play a land, make a dragon egg. When the dragon egg dies, make 2/2 dragons. Again, nothing special, just a decent body, and deterrent from coming our way, or even a deterrent from a board wipe. You better board wipe twice, because we're gonna make dragon eggs and then they're just gonna keep going. Steve, Sargar Tri-Belter, sack him, find some lands. Scaled Nurturer, Mana Dork specifically for dragons. So whenever you cast a dragon spell, you may gain 2 life. Skyline Despot, just a big dumb dragon that gives us the monarchy, which once we've been up and running will be very hard to get away from us, but initially, yeah, people will get it here and there. I mean, the only reason I say once we get up and running is because not a lot of people have a way to deal with flyers. I've seen that time and time again. Flyers are a very good way to end the game, because people they don't realize that, hey, you need to have a way to stop the flying. If you don't, we'll beat your head in with a stick. But if we happen to keep the monarchy until our next turn, we can poop out a 5/5 dragon. Excuse me, I don't know why my throat is not clearing up. Formidable Hellkite takes care of any other person with flyers. He has flying haste, is a 5/5. And when it enters, we deal 1 damage to everybody's creature that has flying but ours, and tap those creatures, so we enjoy that. Thunderbreak Regent, it's just kind of a decent little protection spell, because if somebody targets our dragons with a target spell, then they're going to take 3 damage to the dome. So, a little bit of a deterrent, not normally too bad. Dracus the Butcher, he has trample, he's a 3/4, but whenever he attacks, double the power of each dragon you control. So essentially that could turn Atarka from a like two hit commander kill to a 1-hit kill. Because you attack and you attack with this guy, you could stack the triggers. So then Atarka becomes a 12 12/7 or 12/8, whatever it is. And then she has double strike. So then she goes 12, 12, dead. 24 commander damage. You're dead. This is another one from the Tarkir set. This is the Storm Shrieker. Or Storm Shriek Barrel, I'm sorry. I like it in this deck because it's an omen. So we can pay 1 and a red, discard a card. If we do, draw 2 cards. Shuffle it back into the deck. So we really enjoy the fact that we can draw cards, and it's a dragon. So it's a 2 birds with 1 stone kind of thing. And then, of course, you can also play it for a dragon, which is not going to be that great at 5 mana for a flying haste 3/3 with some fire breathing. But if we need a body, we need a body. Storm Breath, flying haste pro white, monstrosity. And whenever it becomes monstrositous, it deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of cards in that player's hand. So we can catch that greedy blue player with all their mana in their hand. Well, not their mana, but like all the cards in their hand, and just whomp them for a bunch of damage. Just a 4/4 dragon though for 5 mana. It's solid. It's nothing special. Still okay, kind of the same thing. Not really anything special. I personally love this dragon. It's almost one of my pet dragon cards, if you will, just because it's 6 mana for a 5/5 flyer that could go in any deck. And if you have problems blowing up certain carbonates, this guy can do it. As long as you can pay the mana, he can get it. All he has to do is deal damage. The Tyrant of Kerr Ridges, another medium level dragon, if you will. When he enters, it deals 4 damage to any target. And then there's Tyrant's Familiar, flying haste for a 5/5 dragon with 7 mana. But if you control your commander, he gets a +2/+2 and has, whenever it deals damage, it deals 7 damage to target creature fighting player control. So it can pinpoint or move something in our way after the fact, I guess. Like I said, he's another medium level dragon. These are all what I would consider medium level dragons. Manus probably Ganax, Lathlis, Dracuseth. Those are probably the upper tier level of the dragons in the deck. You'll notice that something like Terror of the Peaks is not in here. No Scourge of Valkus. The typical, I would say, boring A+B dragon kind of stuff. Only reason I can say that is because I run into a lot of decks too, so I know. They're common, they're boring. For our sorceries, we're running 10. We got Rampant Growth, Cultivate, Explore, and Farseek to help us ramp out some stuff. Running Shamanic Revelation, Hunter's Prowess, and Harmonize to be able to draw some extra cards. Blasphemous Act, Chain Reaction, and Decimate all deal with things that we have problems with, except for a Blast Act and Chain Reaction are just straight up board wipes. I mean, it's not to like. Our instant package is quite light too. A Braid can hit a creature or an artifact. Return to Nature, we can hit an artifact creature. Not artifact creature. Artifact enchantment or graveyard. Beast Within hits anything that's not, well, no, it hits literally anything. Chaos Warp can hit anything that we need. Hunter's Insight draws us 4 cards. Magma Quake is one-sided board wipe for us. It deals X damage to each creature without flying and each planeswalker. And then we have Return of the Wild Speaker to be able to draw some cards at instant speed. So if a board wipe is going to happen, we can at least cast this for 5 mana and draw 6 cards or so, 4 cards, whatever it is. We also need a punch through for some extra damage. We could cast this for 5 mana during our damage step, or I should say, after blocks before damage, we could cast this, deal 3, and get our team a +3/+3 as long as they're non-human, which our team isn't. Artifact package is pretty solid, pretty typical of what you would expect. Arcane Signet, Gruul Signet, the Carnell Orb of Dragonkind, Jade Orb of Dragonkind. So Carnell gives haste, the Jade gives a 1/1 counter and hexproof till our next turn. So we could potentially play this for Atarka, and if we didn't have haste, we at least can have Atarka until like they do like a mass wipe. Because they're not going to be able to just spot removal her. Commander Sphere, Mind Stone, Soul Ring, Dragon's Horde not only is it a mana rock, but it also lets us draw cards. Dragon's Storm Globe gives our dragons that enter the battlefield an additional 1/1 counter, so it makes them a little bit bigger, and it's a mana rock. The Swiftest to the Boots, Talisman, and Belwar Stone round up our artifact package. Like I said, it's pretty standard, nothing really too flashy, nothing to be like, holy moly, that's an amazing card. No, not really. They're pretty typical things that you're going to see in this deck. And like I said, this is kind of like a custom upgrade, if you will, to what Wizards of the Coast did probably a year or two now, maybe a little bit longer than that. These decks were really solid. I really enjoyed watching some other content creators play these decks like just right out of the box. There were 5 of them. I don't remember all of the color pairings. There was Gruul, which is red-green. Then they had green-white, white-blue, blue-black, and black-red. I think that's the 5 color pairings that they did. I wish they would come out and do the other 5, honestly. They seemed like really solid decks. They were very popular. They were very good to get somebody who's like, I don't want to spend a lot of money on this game right off the bat, because your average decks are sitting at like, $50 plus, and if they don't like the game, you don't want them to spend that kind of money and be like, no, this game's So I push a lot of people to find these decks and look at them, read them. Is this something you enjoy? You think you're going to like doing this in the game? Then grab it. It's only like 20 or 30 bucks. They're probably a lot more now if you can find them, just because they are a little bit on the old side now. But if you can find them and you think you want to jump into Commander, or you're wanting like the core of a deck that you can modify from there, or something like this, hey, grab it. They're solid. They're great. You'll love it. Something that we're going to go over now is our enchantments, though. So we have Up the Beanstalk, which kind of cheats my little, like, everything's $1 or less kind of thing, just because it is, a little bit over $1. But it's too good not to have in this deck. We got a pretty high mana curve, so it draws us cards like a crane. Colossal Majesty will do a draw card at the beginning of our upkeep. Rising of the Day gives our things haste. Crucible of Fire gives our dragons a +3/+3 permanently until this leaves the battlefield. Encouraging Dragonstorm, go find 2 land, put them onto the battlefield. They have to be basic lands, but hey, that's okay. And whenever you play a dragon, you bounce this back to your hand. What is not to like here, everybody? This could be repetitive ramp, and it's really, really dumb in a deck like this. Fires of Yavimaya gives our things haste, and if we need to, we can sack it and make like Atarka big for commander damage kill. Frontier Siege, choose 1 when it enters, Khans or Dragons. You choose Khans, beginning of each of your main phases, add double green. But if you choose Dragon, whenever a creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, you may have it fight a creature you don't control. So it's a nice way to either ramp if we're needing more ramp, or maybe we just need to start taking things out left and right with our big dumb dragons. Finally, Garruk's Uprising. When it enters, we have something power 4 bigger, we draw a card. Our stuff will have trample, and then whenever anything with power 4 or greater enters, we get to draw a card. Wow, we love this, guys. Guys, gals, women and children of all ages, men who are just sitting here going, I cannot believe what this man is doing. Yes, we enjoy everything about this deck. You will notice as well, this deck doesn't have any like actual tutors. I would like to say, like, we're finding lands, we're quote tutoring, but we're not like purposely going out and like finding certain dragons to do certain things. This is supposed to be like a bracket two, very fair, budget friendly entry level deck that still has power to be able to just stomp the battlefield. And as with any deck, if it gets up and going, it can do some horrible damage. But typically, this is going to be a nice. You can sit down. I feel like you can hang with most precons with this deck. Depending what they are, it might be a little overpowered, might be a little underpowered, and you should be able to have some fun playing. I mean, I'm not sponsored by Star City Games, TCG Player, Card Kingdom. Uh, I mean, there's like Channel Fireball. I'm not sponsored by any of these websites, but I mean, you can just sit here and look. The total cost of this deck is like $40. I mean, if I think if you went and bought this whole thing online right now from whatever site you want to, you might run shipping and handling depending on. I would say if you get base level shipping, the whole deck will run you maybe $45, which is, in my opinion, pretty decent. That's about the price you would pay for any other precon, and actually, it's technically cheaper because you're paying for the shipping and handling, and you could just buy these singles from your local card shop if you wanted to, or you'll find somebody like me who's got multiple copies of this stuff and goes, yeah, man, here you go, no big deal. It's dirt cheap. It's not gonna matter. I don't need it. I'll buy more if I absolutely have to. So I really want to push that. Like, this deck is solid, but it's not gonna be like, oh my god, backbreaking at a table. Excuse me. If you want something you can sit down and you can play and you have some fun with, this will be the deck for you. So, all that said, let's jump into the lands. They're pretty typical of what you would like to see. 11 basic forest, 8 basic mountains. We're skewed a little bit more towards the forest side because, yeah, we have a lot of big dumb red dragons, but it doesn't matter if we can't get the ramp going. So I tend to skew anything with green to be a little bit more green, just so we can keep getting our ramp, ramp of growth, Kadamas Reach, take your pick. We want to be able to make our land drops and be able to ramp and have more mana to do more things. Field of Ruin blows up something that's a non-basic land if we need it to. Bonner's Enclave allows us to draw cards. I remember when this card was like $5 or so. So glad it's getting reprinted, and it's getting reprinted into the ground. It's a nice budget-friendly way to always have a source of card draw, especially for especially for decks that have very, very bad times trying to capitalize on that. Cinderglade, dual land, it's cheap. Path of Ancestry, Rootbound Crag, Game Trail, Command Tower of Course, Copperline Gorge, Haven of the Spirit Dragon. It allows us to bring a dragon back from our graveyard, or an Ugin if we happen to have an Ugin, which we don't in this deck. It's budget friendly. Shelter Thicket, Temple of Abandoned, Compulsion Forest, Evolving Wilds, Exotic Orchard, Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. Oh, look how cheapy it is. I love it. You can pay for sack this, and you can go find a dragon and put it in your hand. So this is the only quote tutor for the deck, but we're not like tutoring for any like specific dragon, I don't think, to be able to just slam the door shut and end the game. We're not doing like some kind of combo or mid-range kind of build. We're just playing big dumb dragons and turning things sideways. So I don't really count this as like a you cheated kind of tutor thing. No, we're not worldly tutoring for a Tiamat from an Dragon deck to just slam down and get 5 more dragons and just keep the pain turn going. This could be, maybe we need one of our Omen dragons to draw cards or ramp, or maybe we need the Bloomvine to come into play and gain us some life. So it's more versatile utility kind of land than it is actual land, but it's not even really a tutor unless we absolutely have to have it. And of course, there's Terramorphic Expanse to round out everything. So I'm pretty happy with the way this deck is. It's very, very cheap, and you can take it, you can sit down, and you can just start jamming games. And if you're like myself, you just love playing big dumb dragons, hey, build this deck, slam it, let me know how it does. I actually have this deck built in person, but I have a slightly upgraded version. I have like a $100 budget version. And let's take a look at some of the things that I do run in mine. So this is only a select few cards that were above $1 at the time of this build that I couldn't quite put into the deck. Not without like 100% cheating. I love the Herd Heirloom in my personal build. It allows me to make a mana. Well, I can only use it for a creature spell, but that's okay. I'm mainly creature dominant. And then, if we swing with our 4-power or bigger dragons, we can always tap this to make us draw a card. What's not to like about this? Vandal Blast, because artifact decks are rampant, we can always play this and just board wipe anything that has artifacts and all of our players that are not us, so we like this. Rishkar's expertise allows us to draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures we control. So potentially, at the very least, it allows us to draw 6 cards, and then we can play something from our hand, mana cost 5 or less, for free. Love it. It's spicy. Gotta have it. Dragon Speaker Shaman makes our dragons 2 cheaper. The Invasion or Cure, if we reveal dragons from our hand, it deals damage +2 equal to the number of dragons we reveal. And then, of course, if it flips, it becomes a dragon that says whenever a dragon you control attacks, it deals 2 damage to any target. Yowza, we enjoy that. Typical enchantments you would like to see is Dragon Tempest, Elemental Bond, and Rhythm of the Wild. Rhythm of the Wild makes our stuff that are creatures not be counterable. And then, as long as they're not a token, they have Riot, meaning they come in a 1/1 counter, or they can come in and have Haste. Elemental Bond, whenever a creature of power 3 or greater enters the battlefield, draw a card, as long as it's under our control. And finally, the Dragon Tempest. Creatures we control with flying enters, they will gain Haste, and then whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is the number of dragons you control. No, mine that I just showed you doesn't have a list of like the more expensive dragons I'm running in my list, just because that's my personal, choice and flavor. There's, like I said earlier, there's typical things you can get. Terror of the Peaks, you can get Goldspan, you can get Scourge of Vulcus. I mean, take your pick, y'all. You can swap dragons in and out, and then that's what I like about doing decks like this, is they're so free for you to manipulate and swap out according to your region, your play group, your play style, and that's kind of one of the fun things I do when I build these decks for you all to enjoy. Our mana curve is not horrible. We're pretty high overall. I mean, we're running 2.36 with lands, 3.71 without the lands. Our curve is pretty high. We're almost a beautiful 50-50 split in our mana pips. I mean, as you can see, this is not too bad of an opening hand. We got mana rocks. I mean, we're sitting on 5 mana by turn 3. Not bad. We drop Ganax, get another treasure. And we're kind of off to the races at that point. I mean, not too shabby. This got a lot of lands. I'm okay with that. We have Cultivate, so we can go ramp more. We just drew a Commander Sphere and a Farseek. Oh yeah, we can ramp like a train and just start the pain, baby. Let's start the pain. We got Steve. We got 3 lands. We got 4 lands. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. We got more mana. So we could have Frontier Siege. We have East Within. We have some options. So as you can see, the deck, at least online, works really, really good. The one I have in person, I enjoy it. I think it works great. I've upped the budget a little bit, so I am a little bit more on the just pound you to the dust kind of feel. But if you would like to see the full um, changes I've made, let me know in the comments below, and I will add them to the considering board so that hopefully you are inspired to do something like that as well. But this has been Atarka, the World Render. May the world quake beneath your endless hunger, and may you devour the world. Lay it all on the line and let it all burn with dragon fire. I've been the Buddha Dragon. Don't forget, like, share, comment, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. You don't want to miss the next videos that I'm making because you never know what I've got up my sleeve. And if you're sharing this, share from not Facebook or the internet, share it right from YouTube. Let the almighty YouTube algorithm know that you're enjoying my content. Please, it helps out the channel, and I thank you all so very, very much. Lastly, according to Firstly, hey, check out one of the other videos at the end of this video. And as always, the description will have a deck list for this, so you can just build it and tweak it and have your fun. Again, I'm the Buddha Dragon. Rub that belly for mana, and may all your games be filled with magic. Until the next time, peace out.